Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Code with the Italians 2023 edition. I don't remember what I used to say at the beginning of streams. It's been a long 3 weeks. I have no idea what my name is. I just know these people's names. Hi, Jose. Hi, Alex. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
How are you folks doing?
Good.
Good.
2023 in the same place. Not sure what's happening, but happy to jump back into it. We scheduled this last year, and I think we're doing it today. So
Yeah. It's the kind of typical thing after the holidays where you come back from the holidays and like, oh, I have a thing in the calendar in 2 days. What the hell was that about?
In 1 day. Not in
Yeah,
2
sorry. I was trying to make you look better, Jose.
Well, at least it's not gym, right? Like New Year resolution kind of thing. It's at least you don't have to do push-ups. Thank you, Mark, for the subscription.
Thanks, Mark. So, Ivan, if you remember how to do your thing, now is the time to do your thing.
So yeah, sure. Welcome everybody, and as you can see, I'm in the middle of a relocation, so I have zero shit on my desk. There are no stickers, no nothing, no pins, no keychain. Everything that you can buy on the store. So check the video below or the one that we are dropping in the chat to see our merch to support the stream. You can also support the stream with an Amazon Prime subscription. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can connect it to your gaming, Amazon Gaming, and then you get a free subscription every month for a Twitch channel of your choice. You can choose us. Thank you for the support. It was the best that I could do.
Very good. I like it. Okay, so we are going to be talking today about testing in Compose because Jose and Alex have something new that I was really curious about. I had read absolutely nothing. In fact, Jose is a witness. I asked him an hour ago, hey, wait, is this actually the thing we're talking about? Because this is the professionalism to the point to which I go unprepared so that I can experience things at the same time as everyone else. The best excuse ever. So today we're trying some new stuff to do the call. So if you see any issues at any time, please let me know, because we're also trialing new stuff, new year, new bugs. We're all into that kind of stuff. So please let us know in the comments if something doesn't work. Okay, Jose, Alex, you've been here before. You have already introduced yourself in the past, but I think a quick re-intro would be in order for people that have maybe just joined now. So who wants to start?
Alex. Jose.
Damn it. I tried. Go, Jose.
Okay. So I'm Jose Alcerreca. I work on architecture and testing at Google, and we are responsible for things like the architecture guide and anything related to testing as well. I think that's good enough.
Good enough,
Sounds
yes.
Good. Then I'm Alex Vanyo. I am also at Google working mostly on the large screen side of things, but that also bridges out into other areas. And one of those areas is testing, how you can test on large screens. So hopefully you'll see how that connects later today when we show that off.
Oh, no spoilers.
Later today or in 30 seconds, I guess?
Yeah.
It depends how quickly you speak. Okay, so tell me, what do I not know? I don't know anything, so where do we start from? What are we talking about to begin with, I think is important. I should share the screen so people can see what we're looking at.
Maybe you can start with Now in Android and how this thing started. It was Now in Android, right?
Yeah,
Alex?
So exactly. So Now in Android, if you haven't seen yet, is an app that we as DevRel are working on to have a kind of real app that we can mess around with, but then also really hone in our guidance and try out all these APIs in a way that's more realistic. So it's launched on the Play Store. You can download it. I don't know if we have the link handy for that. And then the source code is all here on GitHub now in Android.
I don't know if there's there's a quick link. Let me copy that.
And so one of the things as we were building now in Android was how to design, build, and test this app across multiple different devices and form factors, and specifically screen sizes. So the portrait phone, you can see those screenshots there. That's kind of the default that everyone kind of first thinks about. But we also want to make sure that it works well across both phones, but foldables, tablets, portrait, landscape, multi-window, all combinations of those, Chrome OS. And one of the issues with that is actually when you want to test across all these different screen sizes, you need to have that amount of screen space available to actually run these tests. So if you were trying to test like the tablet UI, you would need a tablet to actually test that UI. Like there wouldn't be enough space available. Things might be cut off as you're like making assertions. If you're using different UI elements, like if you're using a nav rail versus a nav bar, which we recommend when you have enough space, if you don't have enough space when you're testing it, you can't test it. And so our current like setup, what we had like initially is we were running on portrait phones, which meant how do you test something that requires this larger, maybe a landscape tablet sort of space. So one solution there would be to manage multiple devices in CI and then like filter out specific tests. You could have some tests that only run on phones when it works there, some tests that only run on tablets when you have enough space, which works. Like there's APIs you can do that, there's annotations you can do that, but that's a lot of complexity. And it's a lot of work to be able to set all that up well. And so there was kind of an opportunity to have a different solution. So the idea originally started with, can we pretend to run a tablet-sized UI on a phone? And it turns out it works kind of remarkably well. If you fake out the density that you're running the device on, or you're running the composable in, you can shrink down and show tablet-sized UI on a phone. So you can manage like a landscape tablet UI with all the buttons shrunk down to fit onto the phone screen. So that's how it started. And then it evolved from there because that works so well. We realized we could do that for a lot of other things. And we could also do that for...
Maybe before we go there,
yeah,
we can expand a little bit on the type of tests that this is useful for. So this is obviously very useful for screenshot testing, or maybe it might be potentially. But the main reason why we created these were actually for your regular UI tests. So, behavior tests, whatever you want to call them. And this is because in tablet mode, or whenever you pass a certain threshold, the whole layout can change, right? And in some cases, you might find, especially when you move things to a CI, that your device configuration doesn't match exactly what you have locally. I mean, how many times have you had to add like a scroll action to some list or some layout because turns out that in CI you were using a very small phone or very small device to basically take less RAM, for example, less resources in general. So yeah, this was a big problem. But by setting up the density so that the layout is consistent across devices, you have that guarantee, at least or especially for these kind of UI tests. Not so much for screenshot tests. We'll probably talk about that in a while because rounding is hard, but yeah, definitely super important for CI and having consistency.
Yeah, I think to add on to that point, what excites me the most is when you're running a test, like by default, you have this kind of implicit dependency on the emulator that you're running on. And like, you can't avoid that. Like if you're running a test on like an API 29 phone, like you have that API limitation. But when you are dealing with UI tests in particular, like the screen size is an implicit dependency there. Like if you have some composable that like fills the max size, the size that's going to end up being your test is like going to be whatever emulator you're running on. So the test harness allows you to say, hey, run this test, run this composable at 400 dp by 300 dp. And it kind of makes that implicit dependency on the screen size an explicit one. I want to run this test at this size.
This is very, very cool.
Do we have any screen? We don't have screenshots of a tablet layout in a small device in the documentation.
Let's open a bug issue, Sebastian.
I mean, who's gonna tackle
Organize
that?
We tweeted that
Organize it.
screenshot many times.
I
but-
also know I have somebody that I can assign it right away.
Is that someone in this call?
Yeah, that's my way of making friends. All day long, making friends.
Yeah, we should definitely have one of those screenshots in the test harness documentation on GitHub. So I guess that's a good segue. So that wrapper that is modifying the density is published now as a library in Accompanist called test harness. So one fun thing is that this is kind of a unique library, and that's a test-only library. Like, it's a composable that you should be only using in tests, whereas the rest of Accompanist is all things that you'd use in your normal production code.
Does it like throw a tantrum if you by mistake use it in production, or?
It does, but it's just pure luck.
Best kind of feature is the one that just happens.
Yeah, what was the issue? It's not compatible with layout lib, right? So it crashes in Studio.
I fixed that. I merged a thing to slightly work around that. So it in previews, yeah, at the initial implementation had a slight issue where it had an incompatibility with layout lib, but that is kind of fixed now. There's still limitations, and so that's also kind of a limitation with screenshot testing.
So you could theoretically use test harness into a preview, and it would theoretically kind of almost work.
Yes, maybe. The
asterisk at the end.
The limitations are around resource loading.
Okay.
So, like, if you're, I think languages was the main one I was seeing that was having a problem. But yes, but you should also definitely not do it in. So to get it in a preview, you're adding it to like your normal production like class path, the normal dependency. But you should definitely not be using this in your actual app and shipping it. Like if you're trying to change the language, you should not be using this as your way to change the language. It doesn't integrate with all the other like system UI for choosing language. Like, please don't set the user's font size to 1 always. Like, the user is specifically deciding the font size. Don't override that. Like, you should not be using this in your real code.
But what if you know better than them?
You don't. But it allows you in tests to control that without having to, like, I bring up font size as an example of right now in your tests, you probably are just using the default of the emulator, kind of a 1.0 font size. Test harness allows you to kind of test your composables pretty easily with changing that to 1.5, 2.0.
You want to show the API with a link on the left that you're showing right now?
Let me reshare the screen. Sure thing.
Okay. So I see something different from the stream, right?
No, you should be seeing the same thing that the stream is seeing, but they don't always see the screen.
Click on that package. There's the full API.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's basically it's just a composable that you wrap your tests with. So you probably are going to just set the content of your test with compose test rule, and the first thing that you should do is call the test harness. So you wrap everything there, and as you can see, there are a lot of options. It's not just the size of the screen. But yeah, locales, direction, and yeah, a bunch of other things.
Oh, okay. So now this is just my curiosity. First of all, it's fairly weird that I see the the default
I was thinking
here.
about that.
That's
weird.
weird.
That yeah.
But yeah, go figure what Docker thinks. But is the test harness under the hood changing the local composition values then to obtain the effect of scaling everything?
Yes. And so that's kind of the power of how it works is in Compose, all of these pieces of configuration, is it dark mode? Is it, what locale is it? Layout direction, font scale. All of those are packaged up and presented in configuration locals that composables can read from. And so because those are being provided and kind of there's a hook there that you can use to override them. And that's exactly what test harness is hooking into, to overwrite and modify them. So the whole API declaration here is a little bit complicated in that there's like a bunch of default arguments. The idea is that if you don't pass any of those arguments, if you just pass the content, test harness should basically not really do anything. It should use whatever the defaults, the current value is.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you can override piecemeal, like I want to use like the default stuff from the device, but then I want to set dark mode to true or dark mode to false. And it'll override whatever the device's thing is, but leave the rest untouched.
Got it. That's pretty cool. And I guess that this is the reason why this was never a thing for the view system, because there is no such facility to easily get the values in. Ooh, cat, as promised.
First guest appearance. This is
yes. Now today we have 3 guests technically.
But yes, like there's probably a way to do this in views, but it's probably terrible. Like the fact that Compose allows like this very strong sense of unidirectional data flow passing down these values.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you are in a composable and you're pulling from like a configuration local, instead of like calling into some context and calling like some like getter that's completely unrelated, that's not observable, that's where this doesn't really work as well. There's a fun, interesting one with locale actually that we can talk more about that has a similar effect.
If you want, if there's anything particularly interesting in the sources for test harness, I would also be happy to cover that.
I think it's very interesting to see how simple it is, thanks to Compose, really.
Sure. Let's dig in to the code. So it's going to be in test harness. There you go. Let me increase the font size. So API is just going to be the file with the API, I guess. And yeah, it's okay. 2 files. Good start.
Hey, it has lots of tests.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good thing that it's only 2 files to get all this stuff done. Is just 2 files, one of which is a context wrapper. So technically 1 file.
Yeah, that context theme wrapper is for the slight make it work better on previews.
Okay.
The main core of it is this test harness file.
So we can see a bit better here. Oh, is this for like wearables?
Yep, exactly.
So you can also use it for wearables, which is cool. Like you can run your wearable UI on a normal emulator if you want.
I think you can do that. It's more of if you were running you'd probably still want to use a Wear OS emulator, but you could run some tests that depend on a round screen on a Square device or vice versa. Okay, got it. Yep, like Pixel Watch.
You can run a tablet layout on a Wear OS device. you can run a tablet on a watch. You can do the other way around.
You could. I would not recommend that.
You could, but there's probably like 10 usable pixels. So
yeah, hashtag UX.
I don't think this feature is released yet, is it, Alex?
No, I don't think so. I think that'll be in the next one.
Yeah.
That was after the initial release, but yeah.
I mean,
so
it's just a flag.
Yep.
So one interesting, I mean, the main protagonist here is how the density is calculated. So maybe you can scroll down to that, and Alex can explain because.
Tell
Yeah,
me where to go.
density force size. So I think that's underneath all the configuration stuff.
Density force size. There you go.
Yep. So this is the meat of the code for how do you pretend to have a tablet on a smaller screen. So if you have enough space already, so if you're already running on a tablet and you're running like a phone UI, it won't do anything special. Like we already have the space available. It'll just kind of run it without changing it. And that's kind of like the default case. But that kind of val density equals the local density line. That logic is taking the current density that we have and then figuring out how much space we will have with box with constraints, and then figuring out the density that we would need to have our target size that we're trying to run it at. And so there's a bit of math that I would have to like double check to make sure it's right, but it works. We have tests for it. It's like the weird min and then a max of sort of logic that's really difficult for me to figure out at first glance. So it calculates the density that if we were at that density, we'd have enough size for the composable under test. And so once we've calculated that density, then if you scroll down a little bit, this is where we're overriding the configuration local. So we basically just provide a new local density, which is our old density with the old font scale, and then we modify the density that the internal content will be rendered at. So we took what our real density is, or the outer density, change it, figure out what we need, and then pass it in. And so now content, which is like the composable that's under test there, that one will think it has enough space to render at whatever size we specified, even if that size isn't actually available. So one of the initial first attempts here was there's like a required size modifier in Compose. Like there's kind of one that would seem like it would work, but the issue there is that when you're running tests, a lot of them kind of try to see like, is this actually displayed in the window? They like check bounds. And so when you do like a required size, it would just be clipped. Like it would be outside the device's window. It wouldn't actually be rendered, and there was issues there. So by doing this density overriding trick, all the UI is actually displayed. It's just probably really small if you're running a tablet UI on a phone. But from a test perspective, when it's like just looking at the like semantics and trying to find things through that system, it doesn't really matter how big it is on the real device. You can also just kind of do this yourself. There's a developer option for like overriding the density. So you can take a device, go into developer options, and you can make the UI like absolutely minuscule if you override that value. Like modern devices have such high like resolution screens that we're running them on densities that are super, super like large. I forget exactly the density value, but like we're not running at 1 pixel equals 1 dp. We're very, very far away from that. So that's kind of doing the same trick here, just in code in user space, as opposed to configuring the emulator.
Is this, I don't know if the question I'm going to ask makes any sense to begin with, so I'll say that. But I was thinking back when we had Doris talking about animations and how the animation framework in Compose doesn't necessarily reflect the animation scale that you set in the developer options. Would that be something you can eventually add into test harness to propagate into the stuff you're testing?
As in like overriding the animation.
The timing
length
scale. Yeah.
I don't know enough about that system.
Okay.
It would depend if it's available through a configuration local.
Mm.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if they use one of those to propagate. Read once and then propagate to all the animation APIs. Could be.
I have a quick question about this specifically. Is there a reason why you're setting a size and then doing fill max size? Am I missing something on like why do you set the size twice?
That's a great question. That might not be necessary.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay. So if it breaks something when you take it out, it's not my fault. I just ask a question.
Yeah, that first size should do everything. Because at that point, we have that size available. So I think the fill max size should be unnecessary.
So let's try. Run the test, remove the line, run the test.
I would need to clone a componist. It sounds a bit overkill for something to doing live.
Maybe size is adapting to the minimum constraint, and then fill is providing the available space for the other one, but it doesn't even work like that.
But
I don't know.
wouldn't
I don't
the
remember.
last one be the one that is applied, actually? Not sure. Oh well, we'll figure it out.
I will double check that after this.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I wanted to point out is
Yes.
Why this might be a bad idea to be used with screenshot tests. And
Yes.
that's if you go back to the calculation of the density, you will see that for starters, max width, which is a property of the box with constraints, or is accessible because we're in a box with constraints, that is an integer, and that rarely is in reality an integer. Is normally a combination of integers that whose ratio is not an integer. So we start with rounding problems right off the bat, and then you see that density DPI is also floored, and then it's converted to integer. So as you can see, there's a lot going on here that is going to produce a lot of off by one errors. So if you apply this to your screenshot testing strategy, and you think that you can just use this and rely on whatever, or use whatever emulator you have set up in CI, you're going to have a bad time, because some pixel is going to be different just because of this. So yeah, unless you obviously tweak your tolerance levels and your thresholds in screenshot tests, you are not going to have the same result I mean, you can, but it would be pure luck. Everything would have to match perfectly. The density would have to be an exact integer, etc., etc.
So the same device and the same Android version is essentially what you're saying.
Which is exactly what you need right now with when it comes to screenshot testing anyway. So yeah, nothing is changing. You can definitely use it, but not across different emulators. That's not going to fix anything.
And I would also imagine if you're running screenshot tests, you probably want the screenshots to be pixel perfect. Like, and the fact you're also taking a screenshot of something that is scaled down several times to fit on the available screen size also probably will hide some off by one errors, or off by two, or even off by 4 or 5 if the density is small enough. Well, large.
Yeah, you can
small enough.
You can get away with that with changing the tolerance thresholds and tweaking your screenshot tests so that they allow for more changes in pixel values. But obviously that is risky. The more you increase that, the more you're going to not catch things that have moved 5 pixels to the left.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want representative tablet screenshots, you should probably actually be doing that on a tablet, not the tablet UI that's shrunk down and rendered on a phone. Like that's not
So-
going to be quite as representative.
I mean, that is an interesting debate as well. If you're doing screenshot testing as a way to do behavior tests, so you are actually testing that your logic and your state works, you might not need to go with a huge screen. You might want to use a small emulator and just check that, you know, whatever button is there through a screenshot test. That is okay as long as you use the same device, you know, locally and in your CI. So yeah, use the same devices for screenshot tests for now.
Okay, so do we wanna try something? Actually, I was curious to see what's in the context theme wrapper. Maybe we can take the opportunity to explain what a context wrapper is, because I don't think many people actually know that.
I didn't know what it was before I used it. This.
So now you know, Alex. Tell
Yes.
us.
So this is one of the tricks for some of the other things other than size, which is to make sure that the local context is also overridden with the updated configuration for UI mode, etc. So there's a context theme wrapper, which allows you what we're using for is probably not what you are normally using it for. But what it allows you to do is wrap a context and apply a theme, and then that is kind of your new context. So you pass in like your initial base context, and then you're kind of applying this theme around it, and then you get a new context with that theme.
So
What we're using for
this the theme resource, the actual loaded theme, and then you hook into the layout inflator, the configuration, and the resources.
Yeah. So one thing is this file is just a copy of the there's an Android X context theme wrapper.
I
with
can tell.
one small tweak for layout lib. Oh yeah, I'll VM.
Sorry, I'm not paying any attention because the M prefixes are so annoying to see. Like, I haven't
I'm
seen
not the
Java
only
in a
one
while. Yeah, it's like, can you switch to another file? Oh god.
Zoom in on that more.
Right.
Yeah, so we aren't actually using it to override the theme. Like we don't override the theme at all. We just like use the existing theme. What we're using it for is the override configuration. And so there's that method there. So here you can take a context and then apply a different configuration to it, and then that will be the effective configuration for everything using that context. So that's what we're using it for, is that particular feature of it. And so what that allows you to do is the size we showed off there with the forced density. You can also do this with the configuration to modify the locales, to modify the is dark mode, to modify is round, to override the font size. Because all of those live in the configuration.java Android platform class that everything pulls from. So yeah, all of this is just copy code. There's one particular change to work in layout lib, and basically there's a function that layout lib doesn't implement. So if you try to use it, it'll just crash. It's one of these like configuration constructors. Layout lib just like doesn't implement that.
Oh, like this one.
Yes, it's either that one or might be further down in like some Git resources internal.
Oh yeah, something. Yeah.
There's one thing that layout lib just like stubs out is like, I don't need to do this, return null, and then it breaks.
And then it's like, so
I want to open a pull request just to rename the file, to Kotlin, rename the variables, to drop the Hungarian notation, just to make I want to earn some friendship points with Jose.
I mean,
again.
while you're at it,
I can make him happy again a bit.
you can even make this Kotlin if you really want to be.
Yeah. I want to convert. I want to convert it. Just kill the Java file. I don't want to see any percentage on GitHub. Right? Language is used in the repo. No. It's just gonna be groovy because we hate ourselves and Kotlin.
I thought about it when I was adding that. I thought about converting it all, but then I didn't want to spend the time to make it that much cleaner when I knew that I was just changing like one line.
Yeah.
Hopefully, layout.lib just like influence that, and we can delete that file. Like that'd be the more probably updated approach.
Ivan, can we give Italian points to the first person that sends a PR?
Yeah, that's actually.
We can send them stickers.
This could be one of those, like first PR kind of thing, first joiner, helper tickets. You just convert this to Kotlin and get rid of the M's. But we promise you that we are gonna merge it. Just open the PR, please.
The title of the PR has to be something like "For Jose."
It's gonna be para Jose.
Para Jose, yeah.
Tengo que hablar español now. Ahora tengo que hablar español. Gracias, Mike. El Ivano, el momento del Ivano. No, so jokes aside, this is how we do it. I'm just gonna turn this thing on. Hey, here you go. El Ivano is gone. Ciao.
The important stuff is done.
Oh man, that was the first thing. I don't have like a trash bin, but I have a neon light with El Ivano behind me. So
priorities, man.
Priorities.
Yeah, it's really cool that like you can implement all this stuff in like 200 lines of code, maybe less because you take out the imports and the header and everything is like 150 lines of code, and yeah, you have a test harness and it's done. It's, I guess, one of the nice things about Compose is just like, yeah, everything is easier, almost everything. We have a question in the chat if you want to answer that from Hugo. Did the app compat and Redux implementation do something special versus the platform context theme wrapper?
I think when I was looking at it, the app compat one avoids some sort of I accidentally opened this tab and I was hearing myself. That's weird. I think it avoids some app platform issue on some old API version that's probably at this point ancient, and it might have been like 17 or 18 when I was looking at the difference between the platform one and app compat. The difference between the one we have in Accompanist and that one is just to avoid that singular method call that doesn't work and use a deprecated one instead. That sort of seems to work, at least for the purposes of layout.lib.
Good luck maintaining that, by the way, Alex. Copying the new versions over every year or whatever, or in every release.
That's also part of the reason why I may not want to convert it to Kotlin, because then I'd have to do that conversion every time if it ever changes. It might be better to just leave that file. And I'd commented like the main update, the like couple lines that were adjusted.
Actually, it can be a source of very subtle bugs. What happened to the UI? Have you seen that? All of a sudden, the chat expanded to 50% of the window. Was it just me?
No, that just happened to be.
Okay. Anyway,
maybe it just likes you very much and wanted to see you better.
If app compat, is it app compat, by the way? Anyway, if Android X releases a bug fix and we don't incorporate it into companies into the test hardness, I wonder if that means that people are running tests on a version that does not have the fix, So yeah, probably something that we should, have an alarm for or something.
Can you watch files on GitHub?
Yeah, you can. Well, I don't know about GitHub, but definitely on Code Search, or
Oh,
is
okay,
it
that's cool.
Code Search? I don't know.
You mean CS dot whatever?
On the internal one for sure. I don't know about this one.
Well, anyway, would be here somewhere. I mean, worst case scenario, you can do it the hacker way, which is you use one of those websites that tell you when a web page changes.
Yep.
And like, yeah, there you go.
A scraper that pulls
Yep.
the page every day. Punk, 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 just polling.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it has something here, but if you look at the history, as soon as this changes, you're like, yeah, I'm done. There's always a way around it, I guess. By the way, people, if you didn't know about code search, is really cool. Do use it. It's super handy if you're trying to figure out how stuff works and how it's implemented. And if you're looking for something to copy paste, it's also very useful.
Yeah, I think I was wrong. I don't think it's Code Search where you can add alarms. It's in Gerrit, which means that you get alarms whenever someone creates a CL or submits one.
Oh, so when
that
a specific
touches a certain
file.
path. I used to have it for all of Compose, not anymore.
How long did that last?
not long. It was like all the emails went to the same label. Yeah.
It's probably fine like on day one of Compose.
Yeah, it was exciting. Like, ooh, new API. Now we can have boxes, But now it's not that exciting anymore. So anyway, should we? I know that your screenshot tests do not work in the bundle app.
Yep.
Is it bundle? No, it's a
Bundle. Bundle. Just pronounce it however you want. It doesn't matter. It's a stupid name anyway, so.
A question.
Yes, we have a question from our Slido. So who wants to take it?
I think I can. Does the UI look the same using this test harness then as if you go to developer settings and change the screen width to say something like 700? I think so. It should be roughly the same, depending on the exact rounding of the density. So I don't know if you have an emulator handy. We can try doing this live actually. So
what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. So if you go to developer settings,
I don't know what that was, but fine.
Yeah. We need to go back to that to see what it was.
I mean, System UI GX. I have no clue. Sure. Absolutely. It's like, yeah. It's odd that the developer mode isn't enabled. But I guess it's because it's a Google Play image.
No, I think it's because they want to give you the opportunity of the feeling of becoming a developer. Like I don't know. I mean, probably it's just me, but I find it so satisfying. Click, 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 boom, and there is a new menu. It's like one of those
it's
things,
official.
Right?
Now you're officially
it's one
a
of those
developer.
things, right? There is a developer option on my phone. I mean, it has to mean something, right?
Are you saying that with non-play images, you get it by default?
I think you do get it by default on non-play images. But probably because I think this does have to pass CTS, then you would have to be hidden by default, maybe. I don't know if it's covered by CTS, but...
Okay, we're almost to what we're looking for. The small width there.
There you go.
So the default is 411. We might want to remember that to reset this, or just wipe the emulator.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll wipe it.
But if we change this to, let's do 700.
1 million. Okay, sorry. Sorry.
$1 million.
I had to do it. I had to do it. 1 million.
So you can see now that everything's smaller. The taskbar actually showed up, which is fun. So we didn't change the size of the emulator itself. So we're still on the what was phone, but now everything's shrunken down because we've overridden the density. So if you go back to any app, you'll see that like everything looks kind of like how you might expect it to work on a tablet.
Yeah, we don't have a tablet UI. So it
can see
looks
that
exactly how you would expect it to look on a tablet.
Maybe Alex needs to come back.
I mean, there is
I
a
blame
bigger
this on
margin.
Roberto. I blame this on Roberto.
Yeah,
we
this
don't
is
have
Roberto.
a tablet UI because I blame it on Roberto. You know what?
I'm fine with that.
But the question is now, so the DPI, the DPI, I think they went to 700. So this thing is running on a phone, but you are faking it, and now it thinks that it's running on a tablet, and that's why we have also the keyboard that is supposed to be like two-handed, and we have the bar that changed the shape, right? The bottom bar. So now, Sebastiano, can you enlarge the font? One of those tests, the QA people. So make it like this big. I want to see this thing break. No, I'm not
Sure,
done.
can
Actually,
do.
I'm kidding.
I want to know what the maximum width can be.
Oh, I wouldn't be too surprised if it was like max int.
Maxine,
Can you try 10,000? I mean, this is good content.
Let's make it over 9,000.
Yeah, an over 9,000.
Where the fuck was it?
Just use the
there you go.
search. You're driving me nuts. Okay.
No, I refuse.
Searches for the week. Come on. I can't even read the number. What are you putting in there?
9,001. I did 1,440. So I think
Okay.
there is an actual maximum size. But hey, let's add a 0 and see what it looks like.
Oh!
It's the same. Yeah, this is the minimum on the smallest width.
That
I mean, you
might
said
be a density
9,000.
of 1 pixel equals 1 DP.
Oh,
and you can
that
see why we don't use that.
Would.
Like, this is
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
this is
So this will look like okay on a gigantic tablet.
on a TV.
Kinda.
I mean, if you're very close to the TV.
Yes. But okay. But this is nice. This is actually a nice trick.
Ooh, I
So
can
we
read
went
again.
back to what was it? 411.
Yeah.
so one thing is like the developer option, you can like set it to any arbitrary value. But this is actually also just a normal user setting that you don't have to go into developer options. So if you go to display,
Okay.
I'm doing it very slowly just to annoy Jose.
No. Why?
I didn't know where it was, but it sounded fun.
Wait, why?
so
Why
under
are you-
display size and
We
text,
need guests. Sebastiano. Why do you
Yeah.
do that? Oh, man.
the display size, make everything bigger or smaller. This is pretty much doing the exact same thing.
And you can
but as a
also
user
do smaller. That's cool. So this is the default. You can make it smaller, or you can make it like for my grandma, which is cool. And you can also independently make the font big.
Oh man. Now you have like a 2.5 inches phone. Like
I mean,
back in the
even
day.
the phone is still the same size.
Yep.
It's still it's still the same size and it's like an old phone with a lot of horsepower because it's running like a Snapdragon whatever, but it's just rendering super fast. This thing is doing like probably 200 FPS.
If I do this and this, then it's in dad mode, I think. It's like that's probably how my dad uses it now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
fair
people
enough.
definitely use the apps like this. Like this is not like
Yeah.
an uncommon thing or just like
It's super
thing
Oh, no,
useful.
mess around. Like it's
I'm-
really like
I'm
yeah.
kidding. QA people are not the only ones that play with this stuff. I'm serious with this. I mean, I had a lot of project managers that were coming to me like, "Oh yeah, the thing is broken on my phone," and then you realize they had what was it like the Pixel XL? It was like a gigantic Pixel. They had a lot of, and they were constantly increasing the font size because they couldn't read shit. And I was like, yeah, that's the app is broken on my phone. And I was like, yeah, it's just your phone. It's not anyway. Yeah, sorry. This is so much PTSD, but yeah, you can understand.
Now the real question is the preview of the icons actually using the shape of the icons from the launcher? I'm not gonna check.
Doubt it.
It's like homework for whoever wants to do it. But if you do test it, let me know in the chat because I want to know. And I'm gonna do it after the stream ends otherwise.
Do we want to add fake tests to the app since they don't
Sure.
work? But just to show what type of tests you
Yep.
will write.
Absolutely. So we have Android test stuff. I mean, it's at least it's set up.
Yeah, I tried running them, but no luck.
Yeah, it's probably saying.
No, I mean, do not run them from Studio. Studio does not know what a screenshot test is.
It's gonna be fine.
I mean, it's gonna pass. That's the problem.
Yeah, green.
I'm okay with green tests.
Yeah.
I think that
That is the big
how
problem,
TDD works, right?
Yeah, sure.
Tests
Now
are
you need
green.
to refactor the code, Sebastiano. The test is passing. Now you can refactor the code.
Well, it's
Downloading the internet.
it's downloading the internet because I might have deleted the Gradle system cache because I was having some issues earlier today.
Issues with Gradle caches? That's so weird.
No. Turns out it
That's
wasn't.
unlikely.
It wasn't. I was going insane. I thought it was, but the problem was that I didn't know. So I'm gonna say it in the live because it's gonna maybe be useful for people. Starting with AGP 8, I think. The build features. I need to update the project actually. I think the build feature for the mom, not a good time to call. Sorry, my mom still hasn't learned that I do this on Wednesdays. Yeah, the build config generation is
answered the phone when I called you on
absolutely. I called her this morning. She didn't reply, and of course, when does she call back? The build config generation is now off by default for whatever reason, so you need to re-enable it if you're using build config. Otherwise, your build will go red. So, PSA, that's happened to me. It might happen to you. If it doesn't work anymore when you upgrade, that's how you fix it.
So it's actually a good thing. The recommendation, did we publish this? But definitely, I've been talking to Boris about this, and he recommends setting them to false in all the modules, because it's, if you're not using build config, it's just like absurd to build it, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
also-
it's false by default now, I think.
Yeah. More.
There was let me fetch the documentation page for that stuff. I'm gonna put it here in the chat so you can look at the defaults, because that page is useful because it tells you what is off by default. It turns out build config is one of the few things that are actually off by default. Render script isn't. Shader compilation isn't.
Where do you see the? Oh,
Yeah, there's.
default should be in the summary table.
I haven't checked the table, but yeah, it in the Java doc it does say like this is true, this is not true. Let me Yeah, for example, you look at compose, default value is false, etc., etc. So yeah, this is useful. I didn't know that the default had changed for this, so I found out the hard way. But someone in the Telegram group was super helpful, and after wasting almost the entire lunch break going after this, is like, oh no, you fixed it this way. It's like, okay, it works. So yeah, what were we saying? Oh yeah, the tests are green. It's fine. We're done, right? We can say goodbye. That was
More or
what you were
less.
saying, Jose, right?
Yeah. Why are some green and some ignored or whatever?
This, I guess. I don't know why.
Okay.
I think they were broken.
Ignore, yes. That is a very helpful reason
Yes.
to ignore a test. Well
Yeah,
done.
ignore. Yes. I mean, you could just ignore without providing a reason. I was kind enough to provide a reason. Yes.
It's good to have that, respect coding standards.
Yeah.
The bar is high. Okay.
Yeah. It's only the best quality code in this project. Don't copy
try
anything. Yes.
Adding test harness here.
Yes. So we go in the version catalog, and we already have a component, so we just need to
You
add.
have to bump to 0.28.
Yeah, it is 28.
Oh, sorry. I read 27. Yeah.
No, it's fine. I have updated it today because I checked. When I asked you what it was about, I did check the minimum required version, and I checked that it worked. So
Nice.
at least that. It might have happened in the past that I forgot to do it, and then we had to fix it live, and it didn't work. So test harness. Is it just test harness here?
Yeah.
Okie doke. Do we have... Well, we're not going to put it in a bundle because it's just going to be test implementation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Android test implementation.
Android test.
Right. And this is...
Unless you're using Roboelectric.
Nope. I think that would be Google accompanist. I need to sync. Oh, ignore the fact that everything is red. It's not really red. It thinks it's red. I swear it works.
As long as it compiles,
yeah,
at the end of the day,
should be
compile
fine.
should.
I'm just gonna put permissions so it can sync, and then we're gonna be...
Just write test harness.
Yeah, but I'm lazy.
You're gonna do it twice, but
It's okay. You see, I didn't want to see it red. Because the problem was that it was not generating the new version catalog access source because that didn't exist, and that didn't exist. So yeah,
Yeah, there are already too many red things in this file. We couldn't add another.
No. Plus, I mean, you never know if it's actually red or not. Okay. I think we have done it. Yes, it's not red anymore. That's great. Now the build file is ready. So if we were to just add it to any of these tests, for example, like this one, that it did stuff. So there's something.
yeah, so wait, is this even taking screenshots?
No. Do you want one of the screenshot tests?
No, I mean, it is a screenshot test. The class
Oh, yeah.
is a screenshot test for some reason.
Maybe it did at some point. Oh, yeah, there is compare screenshot. Yeah, this one does.
Okay. Right. So for screenshot test, as we said before, it makes only sense if you know what you're doing. If you, for instance, use Gradle managed devices to...
Yeah, we don't yet.
Yeah. It's it's a feature that I really like, but it's still missing a bunch of very important things. I think it restricts you too much if you want to do customized stuff. So we're giving a lot of feedback to the team, but I think it's gonna be the way to run emulator tests at some point. It's gonna be pretty useful. So yeah, if you have Gradle managed devices, you can define exactly what emulator to use, and that generates a Gradle task that you can run, and that guarantees that you're always going to be using the same device with the same config, etc. That is not true if you are just working locally and then you move to CI and everything breaks. So if you know what you're doing, I think you can use this for screenshot tests. If for some reason you want to keep the screenshots small, or you don't have resources to run a tablet on CI, or I guess those could be good reasons. But let's focus on, Alex?
Yeah, I was going to say some of the other features of Test Harness might be more useful, like switching to dark mode or off dark mode, where you're not messing with the density, which might lead to those rounding issues. Like switching between dark mode, light mode, running those on the same device might be more useful for screenshot tests, for example.
Yep. So let's maybe focus on regular behavior or functional tests.
This one doesn't take screenshots. It just does stuff.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So probably right under set content, you'll add in the test harness.
Will you do it after or before the theme? Is there a reason?
I'd probably do it before the theme, so that if we change the UI mode to dark or light, the theme should pick that up.
Right.
And then wrap the bundle U theme inside that. And then now, so if you run it right now, it should still pass. Test harness really shouldn't be doing anything at this point.
So I will run it from the console, so we know that it actually does something.
I mean, it was. I think I trust the the IDE in this case because it's not a screenshot test.
Okay.
Should be fine. How do you run
it? Run.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah, I just
do this
run it
UI
from here. Let's see.
Is this what you do in the show when you're compiling?
I sing to myself. Yes.
The man can.
What I'm doing, I'm actually checking if.
Are you chatting with your mom to see if it's urgent?
Everything is fine with your mom.
I want to check the thing with the launcher icon shape. That is stuck in my head. I need to know.
What are you checking? That the Duolingo icon is the same icon from launcher?
No, it has to be Chrome or.
Can I not change the icon shape anymore? I cannot. But maybe I can enable themed icons and then see if that preview picks it up. Let's see. Display size and text. No, it doesn't. It does pick up the icon, the app icons though from the system. So there's that. But yeah, it doesn't pick up themed icons. I'm very mildly disappointed.
I mean, we can complain with somebody. Who can
I don't know who works on SysUI on this stuff. Honestly, I have no clue. And probably if I did point that out to them, they would probably tell me to go fuck myself, and they would be right.
But you never know. You never know. Maybe they are waiting for your feedback, Sebastiano. You never know.
I'm sure they are. Just they're waiting for me to ask my stupid question.
Craving your your insights.
Are you building this on a Raspberry Pi?
No. But I think that there is probably a gazillion gigabytes of RAM that are taken by all the headless Chrome windows that I need to run. It's doing
Okay, so
its
it
thing.
passed. Yeah.
So we haven't
So-
tweaked anything right now, right?
Yeah, do
Right.
something.
Let's make this look odd.
We're losing the audience. I'm tracking the number, and it's
Why?
going down. It went down because you know it was building for like 15 minutes.
Oh, dog.
It's dinner time, Jose. It's just dinner time.
Yeah.
People are hungry.
Somewhere in the world it's dinner time.
Yeah.
So should we put, I don't know, dark mode? Something that is clearly visible?
Yeah, or big size if you want as well. And
Sure.
just run that individual test. Don't run the whole class.
Yeah. Let's put 2500. Fuck it. Something like this. Let's see. Let's make this bigger.
Will it crash? Because we haven't tried big numbers.
I mean, only one way to know. I don't know. I mean, at some point, it might overflow, but no,
There you
it's
go.
fine.
It worked.
Hey.
What was that? Oh,
The tiniest thing.
Jesus.
Okay.
It looked
Wait,
like
was
It
it
Dutch-
looked
dark?
like one of those contracts from my bank where you can't read shit. It's so tiny. And at some point they judge me. That looked like a bank contract.
But dark mode didn't work.
No, it didn't. I don't know if it's the theme that is fucked, which should it should be
Do
fine.
you have a dark mode?
Yes. Did something blow up?
Oh, it did. You-
It's probably because I put a very, very small size. Maybe a bit too small. I don't know.
Well,
Can
that-
you open the report?
Sure.
my guess is it won't be able to find the button because it's not displayed.
Yeah, probably that's the issue. Let me.
But shouldn't that be in this log? No. Okay.
No. Assert that toggleable state is on. Toggleable state is off. Probably because it tried to click it, but it was not visible, and then it didn't click for some reason. I'm not sure. Because it's
Make it reasonable. I mean, if you think that's the size that it's
yeah. I mean, it
bugging
worked
him, make it
before.
reasonable.
Let's do, I don't know, 550.
Can you add a thread sleep of 2 seconds after the set content?
Sure. So I'll leave it to 250. The perform click you said, or
No, after set content. That should give us an idea of what
Oh,
at
okay,
least the
yeah.
test is seeing, just to see what's going on.
You could also set a breakpoint if you're feeling lucky with debugging. That's usually works well.
why not both? So we make both the old school and new school of debugging happy.
I mean, in my machine, there are some emulators that I can debug with and some I can't for some reason. So I try to avoid it because I don't know which ones.
I'm just going to ask for the clip of Jose saying, and please add thread.sleep.
This cannon will be used against you in grad.
I mean,
Yeah, it looks like the problem is that it's just not there, like it's not visible.
yeah.
So it
There
did
you go.
both, you see? Both the sleep and the debug.
So we might have actually found a bug in a very, very small phone for your app.
Nice.
Because, I mean, that should be centered, I guess, or should cover the whole screen. I mean, what's going on? I don't even understand what's going on.
I don't know, man.
It's probably restricting it to only 250 DPY.
Because it's not decreasing the density,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
just restricting the size. Okay. Makes sense.
So
Is-
yeah, so for some combination of too small of a screen height, or maybe if you increased font size, that button probably isn't visible.
Yeah,
Like,
because
hopefully that's a scrollable. Is that a scrollable view? Can you scroll to it?
well, I could, but not like this. But I can take this out and make this, I don't know, very, very long. Right,
Why?
There's not, no, it's not gonna work either.
No, I mean, the only way to fix this is by adding a scrollable modifier,
No,
or
but
whatever.
let me check if the page is scrollable. It is not.
Was it a cat or
Yeah,
a
it's not.
baby? Was it a cat? Or a baby? I mean,
Maybe-
That's
weird.
a cat. That's a cat over here.
Baby cat.
All right. Anyway, so
Yeah, no.
maybe we can focus on what a interesting test would look like.
Yeah. Wait, are you
Um,
disparaging my tests now?
So in this case, dark mode wouldn't really give you anything unless you know that you have a different layout for dark.
It
or
should look different in
state
dark mode.
management, or yeah, it should look different, which is good for screenshot testing, but not for a
Yeah.
test like this, which is only like performing a click and
Hmm.
asserting things. Right?
I'm still not
Um,
sure why it didn't pick up the dark mode though. Because it was
I mean, we can look that. Can look into that.
because that was clearly the light mode. So if I do build and refresh, maybe we'll realize something in its life. I don't know.
Oh, I think.
Because the theme is just it's using its system in dark theme, which should be the one that is responding, right?
Is
Because
it?
it's,
Yep.
because it's the one that material uses.
Yeah, if you click into the source of that, I expect it to be pulling from local configuration. Well,
Yeah.
oh, hey, that actually worked. Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe, is there a surface in the test?
No, there's just the theme and the composable itself, which is a column and some text.
Yeah, that's why, right? Column and text should not be modified in dark mode. Don't you need some kind of surface?
But the text should still be, right?
I think the text is going to read from whatever is placed on to know what color to render. So
'Cause
can you
that
grab
would
everything
be-
in a surface really quickly just to
Sure. I'll put it in here.
or there, yeah.
Which one is it? It's material 3. Yeah, this one is fine. And I'll do it like this, and let's try again.
If anyone in the Compose team is watching, they're going to be like face palming so hard right now.
Probably, yes. Good thing nobody here is in the Compose team.
Yeah, that's how we know they're not here.
Nobody's shouting in the chat, what the fuck are you doing?
There you go.
Hey.
Ah.
Take that, Compose team. Still got it.
Hey, one mystery solved. You need a
You
surface.
should probably have a surface at some point or something that
Yeah,
you know,
I
reads
think
if you're in dark mode in that.
the problem is that this is like a sub-composable that is displayed in a carousel, like in a pager. And the parent of the pager is a surface. So you don't need the surface technically there either.
Ouch.
It's fine. It was just on the breakpoint. It's okay.
But I'm thinking about the parent surface thing that you just said. That's actually a very tricky situation because you are basing the behavior of the component that you are actually testing on something that is outside, because when everything is in place, you have the surface and you have the right value, right? So
Right. But I mean, for the record, that surface should never be in the test. We're talking about the fact that the composable itself should have a surface.
yeah,
Unless-
that's the thing that I'm thinking about. So the composable that we want to test should have the surface. It doesn't have the surface because the parent has the surface. So we building the composable, we are assuming that we are placing it in something that has a surface, right? So can I mean, I don't know if I'm clear or explaining the thing. So it's a tricky, so it's a bit of an assumption that it works because we know how everything fits together, right? But it feels like it's a dangerous thing to guess that they're gonna place you in the right place, right? So it was a bit weird.
So now I understand what Seb is saying. So you're testing here a very small.
Yes, it's not a whole page.
It's not a whole page, so you're going to rely on the parent to have the surface or to have whatever. Okay. Now my question is,
it's in here. Like you can see it. Well, you could see it. This one is the one that we're testing, but we're just testing like this bit here.
Got it. Okay, in that case, maybe surface would be okay to have in the test because it's part of your test harness. Really.
Yeah, I don't think this would be any different than having like the theme in the preview, right? It's the same thing.
It should be the same. Actually, you have a surface, or did you just add it?
In the onboarding screen, maybe. I don't know why is it here. I'm not sure.
Because of the same reason, right? Isn't that what we are?
Yeah, but I already have a surface. It might have been there from previous iterations and I forgot to remove it.
Okay.
It might be.
All right. So anyway, going back to the test,
yes.
what types of tests do we want to write with the test harness? As we saw, we already found a bug, which is that if for some reason the screen is too small, we see that there's no way to scroll to the button to click it. So that would be a bug. I don't know if that makes sense at this level of density or at this size, but definitely something to take into account. So maybe you want to have a similar test that is called something like test onboarding screen, or is it?
Sure. Let's
intro page small size or something like that.
Something like that.
Do you know what our recommendation for test naming is? Are you ignoring it on purpose?
I have no idea. But that's why we have you, Jose, here to tell us.
Okay.
Because I have no idea.
I mean, it is a pretty old one because I mean, I would rather have backticks, but
yeah, same. But I don't think you can, right?
It is. I looked into it. Well, I asked the team. I didn't look into anything. I think the compatibility issue is on the orchestrator right now.
Okay.
If you use it, then it's going to break because of or it was going to break, but that was fixed. I actually don't know where that is, but it's something that is being tracked.
We have the orchestrator here somewhere, so it might be causing issues.
Yeah, no. I'm saying that the limitation was on the orchestrator.
Oh, so I thought it was in the...
started working on a specific API or SDK, whatever.
Yeah, I thought the issue was with art or something that you can... Because, yeah, it works in unit tests. Just,
yeah.
Well,
anyway.
Looking forward to the day when we can actually use backticks.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
So what we use... we try to use consistently is subject under test in lower Pascal case. Is it? Yeah, lower Pascal case, I think. Whatever. Then underscore, and then the trigger So what are you doing special in the test?
So this.
Another underscore, and then what should happen. So in this case, it would be intro page. Maybe the trigger could be small screen or small size. I mean, trigger or situation or context,
Okay.
whatever. And sometimes the result is just works. So I don't add anything. I think you can just remove the
does
third.
not clip.
Sure. Yeah.
Technically,
I mean,
I'm not
no,
even sure it's.
We want it to scroll, right?
Yeah.
I mean, fixing the bug would be about scrolling.
Can scroll. Can scroll.
Sure.
Probably is good enough for now.
Yeah.
Well, I guess just copy this.
Yeah.
And we can have a small one. It was like 250 is something stupid like that, and 140. I don't even know what the aspect ratio here is. It's kind of okay.
I mean, with a freeform window, it could be any aspect ratio.
True. True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you always have to consider that if you're running like on Chrome OS or on Windows, because these days.
Another interesting test that you could do in the past, but now it's ridiculously easy, is to test with different locales.
Okay.
So, and that is something else that I wouldn't even use screenshot test for. I would also apply this to behavior tests. So if you change the locale to German, which is our favorite,
of course it is.
It is a good thing to test as well.
So here, for example, how would I test that it can scroll to something? Do I need to do so assert does exist? Is there assert visible? I don't remember. No.
I guess the problem was that it wasn't clicked, right?
Right. Yeah, because the click
assert
wouldn't
on
work.
is the one that failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a perform scroll to, which would, I believe, tries to scroll to it, and then you could do the click and then make sure that works. And then if it's not in a scrolling container, scroll to won't do anything. And so then that would still fail.
Okay.
But let's remember that we're not in a scrollable container, so it's gonna fail.
Yeah, but that's the point. I want to see it go red, right? I need to click it before. Perform clicks, and then we can fix this test and make it green, and we can wrap up the episode. And I'm not gonna say it's gonna work because it might not.
But why would it work?
No, not now. I mean, after we make it scrollable.
Okay, got it.
Did I run? Oh no, I run the wrong thing. Wait, this one.
Lately when we run Gradle, I'm always this close to start singing "Girl from Ipanema," and then I remember that they're gonna shut down the video on YouTube if I try to sing something, they're gonna just give us like a copyright.
So you think your singing is going to be a copyright match?
I am that good.
You never. Well, do you remember when we used what was it? What was the Titanic flute, whatever?
Oh yeah, but that was specific the meme bad version with the flute with the recorder. But that specifically had a content match because that specific version, for some reason.
Who registered that version?
Yeah, someone did.
Yeah, they flagged us. I mean, we had to remove it. No, YouTube did the magic by itself or something. I can't remember. But
then you could mute the audio or something.
Yeah.
Vertical scroll.
So it failed. I can't read the message.
Yeah.
Is it like a meaningful message
Yeah,
or something
semantic
in Spanish
node.
that only Jose can understand?
No, it's a meaningful error. Semantic node has no parent layout with a scroll semantics action, which makes sense. It's like there's nothing that can scroll. But now
Make it scrollable.
So it does fail.
Yes, which is
If you
good.
don't have.
Let's see the suspense. Device right. It did something. It didn't explode. Woo! We have a green test.
It's green.
Thank you,
Congratulations,
Test
Sebastian.
Harness. We found the bug and we fixed the bug.
There you go.
I mean, not
That's-
really a bug. I don't think that situation would
I
ever.
said we fixed the bug.
I mean, Alex, can you say something to your friend? I mean, can you just give it yourself a break, Jose? It's 8 in the evening and we are coding live on Twitch. We fixed a bug. Come on, Alex.
We fixed a bug that other people would probably also have in similar situations. So
You see, bravo. That's the attitude that I like. Okay.
We have all learned something, which is the whole point of what we're doing.
Yes.
All right, I'm very happy this worked out.
I'm gonna commit it, saying something like Jose is not entirely happy.
Oh man.
When is that not true?
True.
Fair enough. I can't relate. But yeah. Let's keep going. Keep going. Keep
Ship
grinding.
it! Ship it!
Right. Sebastiano, somebody's asking for your fingerprint.
Yep, it's the.
It's a scammer.
No, it's Yeti. It wants to access my SSH key, and it's only something I need to approve. Okay,
Nice.
cool. Yeah, that's one password. Okay, I think it's time to wrap this up because I'm getting hungry. It's always a good sign. Ivan, I mean, up to you. You do you.
You do you. So thank you everybody for staying with us. I'm gonna just drop a couple of links in the chat that can help us to move forward with the project. You can support us buying new merch on the store. We have new hoodies and new t-shirts, depending where you live and what kind of weather you have. Just pick what you. And thank you for following us, for subscribing us. I think I have internet connection problems. I hope it's working on your side. Anyway, if you can hear me, subscribe. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can subscribe for free to our channel and support us. And we are giving away stickers every other episode, so that helps to ship for free stickers to our audience. So thank you for your support. Thank you, Jose. I still can't believe that you are wearing our t-shirt in one of the Google Android developer videos.
A t-shirt I paid for in full.
Of course, because if you are waiting for us Italian to give away a free t-shirt, yeah, sure. Keep waiting, my friend. So thank you for your support, Jose. Thank you for supporting the stream. So jokes aside, thank you,
Ivan,
Alex.
just to be clear, are we actually sending the stickers if someone opens a PR on a company to convert that to Kotlin?
No. So we decided that it was a bad idea.
Okay. So we're sending stickers if you don't. No, wait, no, that makes no sense.
No. That's not okay. So let's make something funny. So if you contribute in any way to a companies and the Google people like your contribution and they merge your
Jose
PR,
specifically has to like it.
Jesus Christ. So we are shrinking the okay. So if you manage to get one PR merged for your contribution, we are sending you stickers. I'll give you that. I promise you that. Okay. So open source, and this is the Android community that we want. So thank you again for being with us. Thank you, Sebastiano, for bringing friends over to work with our awful project.
It will eventually
We're
become
also
tolerable.
your friend, Ivan. What do you mean?
Fair enough. I don't want to be, I'm not that kind of person.
It's more like Jose doesn't want to say he's my friend.
Yeah, well. So I like this, and I think there is a lot of stuff that we can do with the library, and I hope that the progress are constant, because testing is nice. Testing is fun. So I love testing, and it helps me sleep at night. So we need more of this stuff. And yeah, Sebastiano.
Folks, see you all. I'm just gonna wrap it up because as I said, I'm getting
Because he's
hungry. See you all next Wednesday. We're gonna have, oh god, I forgot.
I think Rebecca is coming.
No, because I think Rebecca's coming because we're gonna be doing some more work on the jet lag stuff. We're gonna be talking about the graphics and the animation, because you remember last year we looked at the custom layouts, and this time we're actually looking at the rest of the nice stuff in there. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And
let's remember that Simona threw Rebecca under the bus live on Twitch, and now she has to come and explain the stuff. So let's just remember.
But Rebecca is just nice, so she's doing it.
Oh yeah, she's lovely.
Unlike Simona.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
Have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you again, folks.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.